In a world where you call a hero and they are worse than the villains, Iwa, our main character, having witnessed this firsthand, as her sister was killed by these so-called heroes. She sets out on a journey to get revenge. A robbery taking place, the police have the area surrounded. They ask the robbers to release the hostages, but the robbers warn them against coming closer or the lives of the hostages would be at stake. The police, unable to act, they asked where a certain guy was also referred to as a goddamn heroes. The other officer, gasping, told his partner to look behind him, and as he turned to check, the hero they were waiting for arrived. This hero named Jade walked up to them and asked them to leave the place, telling them he heard what was said about him and he did not need extras around. Jade entered the place where the robbery was taking place and approached a robber, who took a hostage, using him to threaten Jade from acting. Jade unexpectedly used his electric power to manipulate the robber into shooting the hostage, blaming the robber for being inhumane. The robbers then attacking Jade, he grabs one of the robbers, using his gun to shoot all the hostages, putting the blame on the robbers and making him able to seek justice for them. Outside, on top of a building, a girl called Iwa stood at the edge of the building and asked the man sitting in a wheelchair behind her to confirm the guy she was supposed to eliminate. The man giving his confirmation, telling her training would be completed with his death, as Iwa steps over the ledge, falling down the side of the building. Heroes following a rule, if given the choice, save many as opposed to the one, the rule became altered, as now they opted to save one instead of the many, and with no consequences taken against the heroes. Death and destruction became of many missions. Unable to determine the heroes from villains, as acts were done by accident or on purpose, all claiming to be heroes who would stop such people. Iwa, fighting her way through a club that Jade had just entered, took it upon herself, being the face that those supposed heroes would see last. Iwa arriving behind Jade, who was entertaining a few females, he suddenly attacks her. But as she blocked Jade, and Jade realizing he had been attacked, he asks her some questions, but ultimately stating it did not matter as he prepares to attack. Iwa can be seen clutching a corpse as the man in the wheelchair approaches her from behind, asking her if she wanted revenge. Iwa replies if it was possible, then yes. The man asking how she planned to find the hero who killed her sister. With so many heroes out there. Iwa's response was simple, saying she would eliminate them all, as we are brought back to the present. Iwa thinking at some point she was bound to find the right one, running towards Jade with a knife. An intense fight taking place between Iwa and Jade. Iwa was unfortunately hit, being thrown against the front of a bar. Jade, sensing the opportunity, attempted to finish off Iwa. She dodges, running towards Jade with a fire extinguisher, and the two clashing, making the extinguisher explode. The area is engulfed in smoke. Jade still able to hold on to the advantage. Iwa was about to perish at his hands, when Jade suddenly bursts out in a cold sweat, frightened by Iwa, who was staring at him with bright red eyes. The battle completely taking a turn as Jade attempts to escape, but is instantly attacked by Iwa, who was able to use his electric abilities. Realizing she was toying with him their whole battle, as she punches him in the face. Unable to move and not wanting to die, thinking of himself as the great Jade, he thinks there's hope, reaching his hand out to a white light. But reality settles in with Iwa clutching him, saying she hoped in his next life he would be a better human being, as she slams it on the ground, ending his life. Exiting the club, the man in the wheelchair tells her all the heroes will be going after her now, and they will be much stronger than any hero she has beaten so far. Iwa telling him it did not matter how strong they were, they should come, as she is the hero killer. Investigators discussing Jade's replacement at his crime scene, an orange-haired man barges in, tripping, falling into a pool of blood. As he gets up, grabbing Jade's head, putting it to his ears, he lets Jade know he would avenge him, dropping the corpse and seeing images of Iwa. The man named Chaos smiles, saying he has found her. Iwa exercised while watching the news, which was showing the hero clan, an organization most heroes were a part of, that delegated their orders. But as that was when the heroes and villains war was going on, the hero clan slowly took over, now ruling the world. Iwa taking a shower, wondering why Jade's death was not shown on television like her sister's. It did not matter, as she crossed of Jade's picture from a larger road map, as many more heroes would meet that fate and they would have to acknowledge it at some point. Iwa arriving at her place of work, talking to the old man behind the bar. Chaos, who was seated, attempted to shoot the old man whose back was turned. But Iwa seeing this, using Jade's power to stop him, holding Chaos at knife point. Chaos thought about her calm demeanor and beauty, giving her an address to meet him at tomorrow. The next day, Iwa reaching the address, Chaos used a sniper to shoot at Iwa that she dodged then hid quickly. Finding out his location, she used a small metal ball throwing it at Chaos across a distance of 2,000 yards. Then quickly getting in a runner's stance. Chaos avoiding the ball, attempting to reposition himself to find out where she has moved to. Iwa was already climbing the stairs in the building he was in. Chaos trying to act quickly, Iwa had a countermeasure for everything he attempted to do. As she headbutted him against a wall, Chaos was smiling seeing Iwa lunging at him with a knife. Iwa's initial strike aimed at Chaos was thwarted when a man with the unusual ability to phase through physical objects, known as Viper, intercepted her. It became apparent that Chaos had violated his promise to confront her alone by bringing this unexpected ally. Chaos asking Iwa if she was going to use Jade's power, her unresponsiveness made Chaos suspect that she could no longer access his powers for reasons unknown. Faced with the daunting challenge of battling both Viper and Chaos simultaneously, Iwa stole Viper's powers through physical contact to make her escape, phasing through the ground. Iwa, angry at her naivety, was still determined to fight, deciding to neutralize Chaos before dealing with Viper. Iwa luring in Viper by shattering a mirror, she launched an assault on Chaos, but Viper caught sight of her and warned him. Despite the obstacles, Iwa managed to inflict an injury upon Chaos. Yet, Viper intervened, making the battle a 2-on-1. Iwa unable to stand after Chaos catches her with a grenade, Viper appears strangling her. Just as she teetered on the brink of unconsciousness, a group of menacing figures who had been observing the confrontation intervened, dispatching Viper. Chaos hiding, avoiding the group, they claimed to be villains. Iwa now in a hospital bed, the doctor discussed her vital signs. When she regained consciousness, she quietly reached for one of the surgical blades on the nearby table and stealthily crept up behind the doctor. To her surprise, the doctor remained calm and even offered her advice on how to handle a blade if she intended to use it to strike from behind. Confused and disoriented, Iwa inquired about her whereabouts and the identity of the doctor. In response, the doctor asked if she had ever heard of a group known as the Nameless. This enigmatic organization was composed of surviving villains from the conflict between heroes and villains. Just then, Rachel Sinclair, a member of the Nameless, entered the room carrying a basket of apples and overheard their conversation. Sinclair informed Vector, the doctor, that someone named Engen was requesting his presence. Iwa, walking with Rachel and Vector eating the apple, was thinking of escaping, having recovered enough to use her gifts. But Rachel announcing they have arrived to the Nameless hideout, it was too late. Sinclair formally introduces Iwa to John Nash and their leader, Engen. Meanwhile, at the 17th branch of the Hero clan, a branch manager, Heavy Smoke, confronted Chaos for leaving Viper to die. Chaos implored the manager to intercede on his behalf with the board. The manager pressed for information on those responsible for Viper's demise, and Chaos reluctantly mentioned Engen. Hearing this name, the manager hurriedly departed, having to alert the other branches as Engen, known as the Smiling Man, had returned. Engen ending introductions puts out a vague question, and the response was Sinclair suddenly attacking Iwa, but as she was swiftly defeated. Iwa, now more curious and furious, inquired about the Nameless mission. Engen revealed their goal was to eliminate the heroes responsible for her sister's death. Upon hearing her sister's name mentioned, Iwa was both shocked and angered, surrounding herself with the electric powers acquired from her fight with Jade. Yunish, the man in the wheelchair seen with Iwa, had met with Engen, and surprisingly, they were already acquainted. Yunish then appealed to Engen for assistance with his student, Iwa. Initially, Engen was reluctant, but Yunish revealing Iwa to be a possible contender to a mysterious female hero, he relented and agreed to help Iwa. He asked Yunish if he had faith that Iwa wouldn't falter, to which Yunish responded by saying he had imparted all he knew to her and cautioned Engen not to be overwhelmed by her. Fast forward to the present moment, Engen inquired if Iwa's goal was to uncover the murderer of her family or if she merely sought a death wish during her pursuit. Ignoring the question, Iwa persisted in her inquiry about how Engen had knowledge of her sister. A tense moment arose when John attempted to strike her, but she skillfully dodged the attack, with Engen intervening to prevent further violence. With no satisfactory response forthcoming from John, Iwa concluded that they had some ulterior motive involving her. Pondering possibilities as to why she was chosen, she concluded presenting them an offer. Her strength for the answers she sought. After she consented to this arrangement, they disclosed their plan to eliminate the 17th division of the hero clan. Meanwhile, Victoria, self-proclaimed as the poster child of the hero clan and its public face on television, was carrying out a mission on a group of approaching villains. Inquiring from her assistant of any media personnel around, her eyes lit up hearing a no as she would not have to hold back. So with a swing of her sword, the enemies are lifted into the air, marking a swift ending to the battle. John pondered whether it made sense to release Iwa and openly voice his disapproval of her. He turned to Sinclair, questioning why she refrained from utilizing her abilities in the confrontation with Iwa. Sinclair responded, explaining that she didn't want to harm Iwa, as she found her both attractive and forthright. Vector, chiming in unsure as well, revealed his doubts due to her heartbeat not changing from the time she entered until the time she left. Sinclair noting that to be the opposite of Engen, who was outwardly calm, masking his inner turmoil. Engen ended their conversation on the matter by stating Iwa would be joining them. He warns John to refrain from attacking her unless ordered, or face his wrath. Following this, Viper and Sinclair decided to grab a bite to eat. While Iwa engaged in her workout routine, she couldn't shake off the thought of almost falling for Sinclair's ruse, holding back her strength during their duel. Iwa meticulously assessed the nameless group members' strengths, deducing that despite Viper's formidable power, Engen operated on a whole different level. However, she recognized that there were heroes even stronger than him. With unwavering determination, she honed her abilities, surpassing her previous limits. In these moments, she couldn't help but reflect on her deceased sister and expressed her fervent desire to utilize the power she tapped from others as stepping stones to ascend to the pinnacle. Later, Iwa returned to the bar where she had been employed and confided in the master about her need to quit due to being exposed. The master reassured her, stating that she was always welcome to return whenever she needed a break. But in an unexpected turn of events, Iwa's boss had revealed Chaos's presence. As soon as Iwa spotted him, she imagined a set of attacks against him, but not attacking, observing that he came without any weapons. She relinquished control of the bar to her boss and joined Chaos outside for a conversation. Iwa inquired about Chaos's intentions, and he earnestly expressed his desire for her to become his sidekick. Though Iwa initially believed it to be a jest, Chaos assured her of his seriousness. During their discussion, Chaos delved into the topic of extraordinary abilities possessed exclusively by the Chosen Ones, such as shape-shifting and controlling fire. These chosen individuals boasted resilient bodies, granting them extended lifespans, yet many met untimely ends, not from natural causes. Dr. Yuna Song, a physician, brought up Viper, who had served as Chaos's sidekick for a decade, and inquired about Iwa's response. Chaos disclosed that Iwa had promptly declined his offer, implying that she had already encountered other potential allies. However, Chaos, not looking sad towards the doctor, revealed Iwa agreeing to a confidential commitment, easing his mind a little. Chaos then leaving, having come for Viper's combat gloves, an item he always wanted to wear. Dr. Yuna warned him to be cautious as she suspected something bad happening towards their division. As he left, Chaos contemplated Iwa's remarkable growth in such a short span and pondered what kind of formidable force she might become. Meanwhile, Iwa geared up for combat as a message on her phone asked if she was prepared to eliminate them all. Iwa, making her way through the skies, arrived at the 17th Division's guard tower. As she sprinted towards the guards of the 17th Division, swiftly implementing the incapacitation plan she had devised with the Nameless. When she inquired about their strategy, they admitted they lacked one and simply intended to confront their foes head-on and eliminate them all. However, Iwa found their approach foolhardy and turned her attention to Engen, who proposed incapacitating the guards as a preliminary step. Sinclair questioned the necessity of dealing with the guards, dismissing them as weak, but Iwa disagreed. She believed that using them as a distraction would bewilder the hero clan, as they remained unaware of the division's leadership. Vector chipped in with crucial intel about the head of security, rumored to be a retired hero. Involving him could complicate matters, making his elimination imperative. Iwa stepped forward, offering to undertake the mission to solidify trust between herself and the Nameless. In exchange, she borrowed Engin's abilities. Returned to the present, Iwa was neutralizing all the head of security's subordinates before venturing into his quarters. Determined to fulfill her promise and end his life. The head of security, Gray Man, inquired whether Iwa was responsible for Jade's demise and the ongoing disturbances. In response, Iwa challenged him to confront her with all his might if he believed this to be true. Their clash escalated into a fierce battle, during which Gray Man meticulously assessed Iwa's abilities. He eventually concluded that her combat prowess was not solely a product of natural talent. She must have endured rigorous training to attain such proficiency. However, Iwa remained far from invisible, prompting Gray Man to desire her downfall. Despite having ample opportunities to end Grayman's life, Iwa yearned for him to unleash his latent power. She aimed to use his abilities as a stepping stone for her own advancement. Consequently, she intensified her tactics, taunting Gray Man until he finally tapped into his hidden potential. Similar to how a regular body requires nutrients for energy, individuals with gifts rely on a unique energy source known as EST. The outcome of clashes between these gift users hinges on who can wield EST most efficiently. However, a lack of caution, leading to the over-expenditure of EST, can result in fatal consequences. This portrayed through Jade's gift, in which she could use for 5 minutes, and Viper's, in which she could use for only mere moments. She had to refrain from using her gifts until the most opportune times. Following a provocation, Gray Man summoned a massive blade from his arm, igniting another skirmish. Frustration consumed him as he struggled to land a blow on Iwa. In response, enormous blades sprouted from his body, but even with this formidable transformation, he proved no match for Iwa. His demise arrived swiftly when she hurled him out of a tower window. As Iwa departed the scene, fate led her to an unexpected encounter with Victoria. Upon spotting Iwa in full sprint, Victoria wasted no time and lunged at her. Her demand was clear as she confronted Iwa amidst the lingering scent of blood in the air. Yet, Iwa remained silent, offering no response. Instead, Victoria remarked on Iwa's pleasant voice, a comment tinged with menace, as if it only fueled her desire to tear Iwa apart. The elite individuals possessing the most formidable abilities were known as the Elders, a group unfettered by conventional rules and constraints. In this world, they were akin to pearls hidden within oysters, and among these luminaries, Victoria stood as a figure whose existence preceded the age of both villains and heroes. In her current predicament, Iwa realized she wasn't yet a match for Victoria's might. However, she persisted, seeking an opportunity that seemed elusive. As she threw a punch, Victoria deftly caught it, retaliating with a barrage of blows. Iwa feigned vulnerability, concealing her true strength. After acquiring Engin's powers, Iwa disclosed her intention to use them temporarily, aware that she could only permanently wield the abilities of those she had killed. With Engin's powers at her disposal, she made her escape. Upon regaining consciousness within Dr. Vector's clinic, Iwa's first request was for food, which she devoured eagerly. The next phase of their plan, to strike when the heroes gathered in response to Grayman's demise, was set in motion. Their only remaining requirement was the supplier of explosives. Engin made a call for a delivery, and when the courier arrived and rang the doorbell, he fled, prompting the group to chase after him. They pursued the delivery boy, embarking on a power struggle as John, Iwa, and Sinclair collaborated to apprehend him. Eventually, he acquiesced when Sinclair cleverly employed her gardening power to ensnare him in an undisclosed location. Sinclair then appearing, telling him he had 2 options for escape: defeat her knowing he was not a strong fighter, or cooperate. Chain Logis is an organization that outwardly appears as a typical distributor, but rumors suggest they'll transport anything for the right price. The delivery boy led the group to their headquarters and presented a phony individual as his boss, going by the name Chain. Members of Chain Logis made an attempt to assail the group, but Engin swiftly thwarted their efforts. Subsequently, the genuine Chain unveiled himself. Upon spotting Engin, Chain widened his eyes and called out his name, indicating a prior familiarity between them. Chain and Engin, comrades from their time in the war, shared a deep bond. Engin had once bravely saved their lives on the battlefield. It was during this turbulent period that Engin confided in Chain about their daring plan to infiltrate the 17th Division. At first, Chain was hesitant, wanting to steer clear of the dangerous mission. As Chain contemplated his decision, Iwa emerged from the shadows, prompting Engin to introduce her as their wild card, named Hero Killer. Iwa requesting that Chain hand over the explosives. Chain now playing video games, while the delivery boy inquired into why he agreed to cooperate. He was concerned about the potential consequences brought on by Engin's destructive nature. His subordinate then questioning whether they would face repercussions in the future. Chain reassured them, explaining that he did not give enough explosives to destroy the 17th Division. In case any complications arose, they could always offer an apology, claiming they were coerced into their actions. The delivery boy then asking Chain if he thought Nameless could actually take down the 17th Division. Chain expressed it to be practically impossible. But if they were to be successful, he knew they would be in trouble. Meanwhile, Dr. Yuna tended to Chaos and offered him advice, urging him to refrain from further combat. Chaos, however, remained steadfast in his determination to learn the war's ultimate outcome. Despite Dr. Yuna's argument that the war had already concluded, Chaos stubbornly maintained that it had never truly ended. Just then, a group of recruits arrived at the scene, including Claymore, Sharpshooter, and Stonefist. The new recruits discussing all the events taking place so far, Heavy Smoke appeared awaiting their arrival. But while that was going on, in the basement, a delivery person arrived carrying a truck loaded with explosives into the Hero Clan's base. The 17th Division's commander, Heavy Smoker, ignored his ringing phone as he briefed the recruits about the upcoming attack. The anticipated number of participants dwindled, falling short of his expectations. Stonefist revealing his excitement to battle the elusive Smile Man, holding the opinion he could defeat him. Claymore did not hold the same sentiment, expressing they should be cautious. Heavy Smoker inquiring into Chaos's condition from Dr. Yuna, Sharpshooter insults the injured Chaos from his recent events, resulting in a heated argument. Their dispute abruptly interrupted by an explosion that rocked part of the building, forcing them to prepare for battle. Across town, Victoria's assistant Hecate sat alone in a restaurant, perusing the menu and deeming it too costly. Victoria entered the establishment, taking the stage to showcase her piano skills before eventually joining Hecate at the table. As they conversed, their discussion turned to the recent events taken place by Nameless, but Victoria expressing any big battle to take place before her leave ends. Hecate peers out the window saying it had already happened, putting a sinister smile across Victoria's face as they observed the burning 17th Division. Nonetheless, Iwa, Engin, Sinclair, and John continued their march towards the 17th Division, despite learning of Chain's betrayal and supplying insufficient explosives for their mission. A glimpse into Iwa's journey. Comment down below if you would go through all this for a loved one. For more videos like this, check out the channel and turn on post notifications. Like and subscribe to let me know you are enjoying the videos, and thank you for watching.